With over 23 years of experience in the market, I'm Anthony Calhoun. Welcome to Simplified Profits, where we like to keep things simple. Today, we're going to go over a quick market update, some buying opportunities out there. As last week, we had a pretty wild ride. We was closed on Monday, but we've seen the market pull back Tuesday and Wednesday. And I know a lot of people was hoping it was the long-awaited pullback to give us a decent buying opportunity, but we didn't even hit oversold territory. And then on Thursday, the market rallied to new highs again with NVIDIA's earnings. And let's take a real quick look at the stock charts to see where we're at. So this was, now triple Qs actually was the closest to oversold. And on our last video, just take a look at it. We were basically saying we'd be buying right here, as we basically said. I told my son to buy, which he did. He bought some TQQs, T triple Qs, the leverage version, and had a good 10% gap up in the morning. He locked in that position on Friday, actually about the high on Friday, for his first swing trade at 18 years old. Started his own brokerage last month. Quick shout out to him. And he also bought like XLX, XLK, believe on Wednesday as well. So he's just holding that for a long term. But anyway, let's dive into the market. So as you can see, we were closed on Monday. Friday, we had a pullback. Now everybody's anticipating a pretty big pullback in this market because, I mean, really, if you look at what happened last year, so last year you had semiconductors up 70%, triple Qs up 50, SPY up 20, Dow Jones up 10. And right now already it's February, the end of February, and semiconductors are up another 20%. I mean, these things, do we think they'll double this year? I mean, maybe get 100% out of them this year, 70% last. I mean, that would be one heck of a run over a couple of years, ladies and gentlemen. Not that it can't happen. Market's crazy. That's why you got to love the game. And triple Q is already up 6% this year. Same with SPY and Dow Jones. So semiconductors is really carrying the market. Like I said, NVIDIA is what just rocked the market to new highs on Thursday. But everything right now is kind of looking weak on Friday, but it's a Friday. A lot of people just kind of closing out positions for the week and, not knowing what to expect over the weekend because it's been getting crazy out there. Right now, the market is looking strong as crap. Just break out on every level, weekly, monthly, daily. Daily, it is kind of looking toppy, but it looks strong. I mean, I definitely would not be shorting this. I don't believe in shorting the market. Just put you in a bad mind frame. But hey, we like to buy weakness and sell strength. Looks like any bit of weakness in the market has been getting bought up. We ain't seen an oversold territory in 4 months in the Dow Jones. SPY, it's been almost 2 months, which I've seen 2.5 months. I mean, usually don't push out very far past 2.5 months. 1.6 months. So Dow Jones might be our longest time frame. Everything's about 1.6 months right now. Which, if you look back, you got 1.3, you got 1 month. And it's a pretty consistent trend at that level. And the Dow Jones is definitely the biggest one. And as you can see, it crossed up over the 200-day and is just taken off from there. Since it crossed over the 200-day, it is up 13% in 3 months. So if you would have got a new Dow at that, you've been up 40% in 3 months. One heck of a gain. So yeah, just real quick, the market is looking very, very strong. Definitely wouldn't be shorting it, but depending on how much I'm up, remember, if you don't take your profit, somebody else will. But honestly, the thing looks like it may continue to run. All these stochastics are starting to, same with the short-term moving averages, starting to flip up again. But only time will tell where we end up. No matter what, my strategy is to buy when they're oversold on a bullish chart and manage that position. So just some real quick buying opportunities. This is S&P 500. There's 321 bullish stocks out there out of 500. And we'll go over the oversold ones here in a minute, but let's just look at the oversold ETFs because that's what we prefer to trade. Uranium miners has obviously been getting hit. We bought this one in our transparent account on the 14th, so we've been in it for, counting the weekends, roughly 11 days, but bar wise, 9 days. Sometimes, like I said, swing trades will take a couple weeks to a couple months, ladies and gentlemen. You just got to be patient. But no telling. I mean, it could have more room to drop. Only time will tell. I'm still bullish on uranium and nuclear energy. But there's really not much out there as far as another uranium junior miner. You know what? I did think last week at some point I seen some cannabis ETFs on here. Let's take a look and see if we see them. Actually, I meant to tell my son to jump in a few, but I think they've already bounced up. Ooh, bug. That's cybersecurity ETF. So that probably dropped. I actually told my son to. Man, it's great having a son that's old enough to be in the market. I was basically showing him this chart. I usually don't buy gap downs, but as far as this company goes, great long-term company. I may actually buy that on a gap down. Looks like the 200-day moving average is held. And this thing it could easily possibly run back up to where it was, 380, another 35%. Who knows? It's cybersecurity isn't going away anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen. But where was we? Bug. What else we got out there? MJ, it's one of them, I thought. So MJ is a cannabis ETF. And yeah, this was just last week. This was the one I was kind of recommending to my son. I don't think he entered it. What's up 12% in 9 days. So buying opportunity, if you want to get an ETF, MJ is kind of the weakest out of the cannabis, so I'd probably hold off. Bug, as far as cybersecurity, I know there's other cybersecurity ETFs out there that may be stronger than that. Let's see if we see any. I want to say First Trust. Yeah, so that's definitely rallied more. But then uranium miners, but I know it's kind of shook a few people. Sure, a lot of people's jumped out, just not wanting to get caught holding the bag on this. Nothing I'm worried about. It's only February, so we'll have way more income to come into the account. Now, whether or not we're going to continue to manage that position or wait for it to trend up, take a look at our transparent account video. I kind of go over those options. Not really sure. We're down about 4.3%, which I only like being down about 2.5%, but we are out of cash flow to manage that position any lower. So hopefully it turns around, runs up to previous highs. If not, we're just going to have to be patient. I'm definitely not going to lock in a big loss on it. We'll see. Sometimes emotions get the best of you and you just tap out, but I try not to let that happen. Let's take a look at S&P 500. Well, this is all we got coming up. As far as, and this is really has been on a bullish tear. I was waiting on a pullback on this. I want to say, it wasn't right there. Yeah, I was kind of wishing I would have entered there and didn't enter there. And I actually added a small portion of this in my income account right there because they do pay close to 3% dividend. It's been a bullish chart compared to the utility sector. So if you look at most utility companies, utility sector looks like garbage. This has been a pretty decent utility company stock chart. Jump into the fundamentals, check it out, see what you think. But I added it to my income long-term investment account. And that was a couple days ago, so it's still got, that was here. I think we're about even on it. AMGN took a beating right there. I'm not sure why, but just ladies and gentlemen, look, out of 500 stocks in the S&P 500. Only 12 of them's oversold and bullish right now. RTX just crossed over the 200-day, pulled back to the oversold territory. Now, I actually exited this up here a while back in my long-term account. Got in for ex-dividend date. I got the dividend, but it crossed around the 200 days, so we got out. And of course, we had everybody blasting us, but it's dropped as much as 30% in 4 months since then. And we put that money in BWXT, which has done probably the opposite of that since then. So definitely a good move on our part. GPN Global Payments. That's that P don't look horrible. I have to dig into the fundamentals. Don't know much about that company. And we got Federal Realty Investments. Not much coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And there hasn't really been. Obviously, as we would expect, considering the entire market's overbought. Anything that's oversold right now, unless it's a complete sector, I'd almost kind of stay away because the market does pull back. It's probably going to go back, probably going to go lower. Let's see here. That's about it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's a few more scans we can do. If you for any reason want me, I mean, if you dream it, we can build a scan on TC2000. If you'd like to see me start running specific scans for you, just to kind of see how they play out, let me know. Leave it in the comments. This is bullish oversold weekly. So this is weekly charts. That the weekly chart is basically just like our daily chart. It's a bullish looking chart and it's oversold. So take a screenshot of these. These might be something you want to enter. Now on the daily chart, it could be under the 200-day moving average, which we would enter based on the daily chart. And I would still hate to enter it. So if I could find some of these that are over the 200 on the daily, here's one of them that looks decent. So yeah, QLYS. Maybe a pretty good entry, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it is oversold on the weekly chart, oversold on the daily chart. It's in the tech sector. I definitely want to dig into that, see what the PE, I mean, that's a positive PE, so that's a good thing. It's not like it's negative 20 like the next one up. So yeah, there are many options out there and opportunities for trading. Okay, so you can trade on the 15-minute, the hourly, the daily, the weekly, the monthly chart, however you want to trade it. Just have a strategy for an entry and an exit to actually make you profit. So let's just take Take-Two Gaming. I don't know about that. Might be a good. So far, looking at the oversold weekly, I do got one I like, which we're kind of tied up in cash flow in a transparent account. So we may enter it in something else. Another one of my accounts, whether it be my trading account or my long-term investment account. This right here, that weekly chart. Daily chart looks smacked, but hey, look at this. This is one of the mining companies in our ETF. Looks like I've already got. Looks like we've drawn on this a few times, so we've probably recommended buying back there. If not, we did. But yeah, that right there could be a good buy. Apple, man, under the 200-day on the daily. Kind of warned people that would happen. I'd be careful about that. I have to tell my son about that on XLK because they do hold a pretty big percentage in Apple. I feel like that's probably I could definitely see a bigger pullback. So you gotta understand, you gotta check multiple time frames, monthly, weekly, because you gotta understand the possibilities of pullbacks on your positions. So you kind of know what you might have to overcome. I mean, you may have to, unless you just want to lock in losses and compound losses repeatedly. But right now, I'm going to probably spend a little bit of time doing some research in this company. I may add it into my long-term I want to say my long-term investment or income account because it's not paying any dividends by the looks of TC2000, but we may add it to our trading account. I may see, looking at that bar right there, see if this crosses under the 200 day, but we would be entering it off the weekly chart. That is entered test. I may watch it for another week, see what happens. That could be a buying opportunity as well. Matter of fact, add that to my buy potential. And that is really it, ladies and gentlemen. Not much going on out there. Just let your long-term accounts ride and your trading accounts just be patient, or however you operate. You may just dump money in weekly. I like being a little bit more active and trying to beat the market. But I'm out. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.